so in today's video we're going to do a quick oil and filter change on the van. Just a shorter video this one, so let's get into it. Okay, so let me explain to you what I've done here. I don't really have axle stands which are capable of carrying the weight, or they probably would, but they're quite thin, quite flimsy, so I don't really trust them. So what I've done here is wheel back down onto railway sleepers, and then that way there's just enough room for me to get underneath. Let me show you. So as you can see here, this is how I've done it. This is just an old railway sleeper that I've got. The wheel's down on that, which has brought it up. Here is a jacking point, so just under the front corner. It's kind of like angle plate really, there, that's your jacking point. However, you can jack it up from the tubular subframe also if you like. That's where I chose to do it from. Now as you can see, I've also got a jack underneath the back, so it's super safe on the sleepers. Safety is key, so I've actually got a jack underneath as well with a bit of timber across, which touch either side of the subframe as a secondary precaution in case anything ever went wrong. Basically that's safe now. If you're going to do it on axle stands, that's fine. You can put them under the tubular subframe where the secondary jack is at the moment. Please note that when you jack a vehicle up one side, drop it down on the axle stand, when you jack the other side up, it actually can sometimes pull the legs on the axle stand or even make the axle stand tilt. So before we move on to actually draining the oil itself, we're going to start the engine up. You're better off doing this at running temperature or when the engine's warm, because you'll get more out. Basically that's the reason behind it. The thinner the oil, the hotter the oil, the quicker it will run out and the less it will stick to the internals of the engine. So basically the more you get out, the more new you can put in, which is the overall goal. So let's run it up now. Run it for 10 minutes so it gets warm, and then we'll drain the oil. Okay, so once you've double checked, triple checked, and then checked again that everything's safe, axle stands, jack, or sleepers wise, I'm going to come underneath now. Here is the sump plug. Obviously guys, always adjust, because you might find something slightly different to what I've got. This is the 1900. This is a 19mm socket. I haven't got an under tray on this. If you have, it might be held on with Torx bits or little 10mm bolts all the way around, so you'll have to lower that first, unless there's an inspection panel in it that you can remove or unclip. I'm unsure about that. So basically, locate the sump plug, knock it off like that. Lefty loosey, righty tighty, if you don't know which way you should be going. Simply bring your bowl up to it. Be careful now guys, because if you warm the engine up, the oil, obviously self-explanatory, is going to be hot. So keep your arms, keep your hands away from it. Ideally wear long sleeves and gloves. Don't do what I'm doing. Bring that up to it. It's going to make a bit of a mess. Remove the sump plug and then catch the oil like that. As the oil gets less and less in the engine, the trail coming out will move this way slightly, so you'll have to keep adjusting the bowl so that you're still catching it and it's not going all over your floor. Like so. Light's gone off. How awesome is that? So as the light died, I'll bring you round the front. So you'll notice on the sump plug you've got like a little washer. Now you don't have to replace these. Ideally you should. It's good working practice too. You can get yourself a copper washer. Basically when you buy the oil filter or the oil, try and get yourself a fresh washer to put back on the sump plug before you screw it back in, because that's what creates the seal between the head of the sump plug and the sump itself, so therefore the oil can't escape. So you want to replace that. clean it all up, clean all the thread up, spray it up with some WD-40, get it all nice. Moving up to here, while the oil's draining underneath, we're going to remove the oil filter. I recommend taking your cap off now, putting it on the scuttle panel, just so that you remember to always put oil in it and don't be that guy driving down the road with no oil in. To access this, I've simply got a 1/2 inch socket, which is a 32mm, and a long extension bar, which then, when on the head, it will allow me to undo from up here. Okay, so you've now removed the oil filter housing with the filter in it, that pulled up. Get the new one, check it to make sure they're both the same, so you haven't been given the wrong part, because it can happen. You'll see there's a little seal on the bottom of the new one. Get a bit of oil on your finger, rub it round that seal. New filter comes with a rubber seal like this as well. Goes around the plastic housing there. So you've got to remove that. Yet again, don't put that on dry, or if you do put it on, get a bit of oil on your finger and then run it round so that when you're screwing it into the aluminium housing on the engine, it's not picking up and it's not dragging because it's dry, it's sliding a lot smoother. This just pulls out, then that one clips back in at the bottom like that, you'll see. You can get the manufacturer specs for the sump plug torque if you want, or a quick Google search that'll find that. However, I'm just going to nip it up because I roughly know how tight they should go. Okay, so now once you've done that, you need to put it all back together, put all the filters back in, put the oil cap back, put the oil in it, put the oil cap back on it, start the engine up, let the oil light go out, let it run for, let's say 20 seconds, turn it off, wipe the dipstick clean, check the oil, top it up accordingly until it's on the maximum mark. Common sense. Now, because you've done the oil and filter yourself, it's not an excuse to not have a service done. So you want to check your fluids, check all your brake fluid, check your coolant, top your washer bottle up, give it a bit of a look over under the bonnet. You've got a duty of care, so you need to do that. And then once that's done, you're finished. This is what was used. So I've got a tub to put the oil in, got the tub of oil, oil filter with a new ring, new copper washer. I had a 1/2 inch extension with a 32mm socket on it for the oil filter housing, a torque wrench if you want to do it to specs, a 3/8 ratchet with a 19mm socket on it. I've put this in and I'm a litre short, so I'm guessing this engine needs around 6 litres. This is 5, so you'd have to buy yourself 6 litres of oil and make sure it's the PD oil. But if you're buying it from a car spares or a supplier, they will check the reg and they will make sure they sell you the right oil and the right filter for your van, whether it be 2 litre, 2.5, etc, etc. That's the end of this one. Thank you for watching. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe, it helps me out a lot. Leave comments below. I don't normally do the service maintenance kind of videos, but is it something you want more of? Comment below. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.